Strategic Living with Brian Holmes, episode number 20. Welcome, everyone, to the program today. I'm so glad you have found the Strategic Living podcast. My name is Brian Holmes, and it's a joy to have you with us today. We are all about transforming minds, developing leaders, changing nations. Hey, we want to see you healed, your mind renewed. We want to see you transformed, and at the end of the day, we want to see you discover who you really are. We want to see you become all God's created you to be. Well, here in the U.S., it's the week after Thanksgiving, and I trust that you had a great week with your family, with your friends, and I really trust that you took time to be thankful for the things that God has blessed you in your life with. Going to be a great program today. Make yourself comfortable, and let's get started, everybody. Well, it's awesome to have you with us back on the program today. I'm very excited to have Thanksgiving behind us. I think all of us are probably recovering in one way or the other from our time away. For me, it was a bit of a unique week because that's the first time in 20 weeks that I've just taken a week off from podcasting and from creating content. And I trust that you took the opportunity last week to just spend time with family, to really be introspective and think about what you have to be thankful for. And thank you for allowing us to take that week off. Well, I want to just dive in today by asking you a few very important questions that will lead us to our topic. Number one, are you happy with the results that you've experienced in 2013? And that's something I want you to really give some thought to. If you were to be very honest at a heart level and consider, if I look back on 2013 and I think about the things that I had hoped for and dreamed about and even planned for this year, am I happy with the results that I've experienced? Number two, did you accomplish specific goals that you set for yourself for this year? How about this one? Are you satisfied with the relationships that you have in your life today? Are you satisfied with the condition, the state? Are these reciprocating relationships? Are they give and take? Are they healthy? Are they godly? Are they helping you to become more of who God's called you to be? Or are they costing you something? Are you satisfied with the relationships you have in your life? Do you feel like you just can't escape the past? This is one that really bothers me from time to time because it seems as though, even though we want to see forward, we want to envision a future that is filled with all kinds of good things, it's almost like the past just keeps creeping up on us and biting us in the rear end. Do you feel as though you just can't break out of the limitations, the hurts, the disappointments that you may have experienced in previous times and years? Well, let me ask you this. Are you ready for a fresh start? Are you ready for a new beginning? Are you ready for a reboot? Well, I hope your answer is yes. And if so, I want to ask you to consider something. Do you feel as though you are capable right now of seeing the future the way that God sees it for you? Do you think you can look through all the filters, get past the filters, and see what an amazing future that God has prepared for you? I hope you can. And if you can't right now, by the end of this podcast, I believe we will have given you some tools to help you to see past the limitations and to see the potential and the greatness that God has put in front of you. Today on this episode, we're going to be talking about preparing for a new year and making ready for new beginnings. Well, we're talking about new beginnings. We're talking about a brand new year that's approaching quickly. And I think it'd be appropriate for me to share with you something that's coming up very soon. I want to mention it at the front of the podcast. I'll also tell you a little bit more about it at the back end today. But on January the 25th, that's Saturday, the 25th of January, 2014, I'm going to be hosting a live New Beginnings workshop right here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. If you're in the state of Texas or anywhere close by and you'd like to drive in and be a part of this, the live audience, we'll be taping this for television and for video. We'll be obviously recording it with audio, but I'm putting this together not just because it's a new year, but I want to help people to get to a place where they can start over, where they can begin again. Well, how do you do that? Well, we're going to be talking about things like how to let go of your past once and for all, how to reignite your dreams, how to get those things burning in your heart that used to burn in your heart. We'll be talking about how to develop a strategic plan for the new year, if that were the case, or frankly, from wherever you're starting from today, you can create a plan for your future. And we want to see to it that before we leave on the 25th, that we have provided you the necessary tools to be activated for the new season God's bringing you into. So January 25th, mark that on your calendar. It's going to be an amazing 6-hour workshop that I believe will reboot you in every kind of way. So we're looking forward to that. I'll tell you more about that a little bit later in the show today. Well, let's start with our spiritual principle today. And we're going to be looking at one of my favorite passages in all of the Bible. It happens to be Jeremiah chapter number 29 and verse number 11. Jeremiah 29, verse 11. Now, I could read this from any translation. They're all good. But I want to read this today from the New English Translation because I just love the way this plays out. It says, "For I know what I have planned for you, says the Lord. I have plans to prosper you and not to harm you, and I have plans to give you a future filled with hope." I'm going to read it again. "For I know what I have planned for you, says the Lord. I have plans to prosper you and not to harm you. I have plans to give you a future filled with hope." Man, I love that. Well, another year has come and gone. And it is at this time, I guess every year, that we tend to reflect on previous days and months. We consider opportunities that we have maximized and opportunities that we have missed. We many times will ponder our present state or our present condition. And for most of us, we want to look forward. We want to, all right, let's look into 2014 or whatever our new beginning is. Let's look into this next season and let's consider what might lie ahead for us. What's out there? What are the possibilities? Well, you see, time is a continuum, and the truth is that a date on the calendar, which in this case, let's say January the 1st, 2014, doesn't really constitute some magical do-over opportunity. In other words, well, this year I'm going to get this right. This year I'm going to lose 20 pounds. This year I'm going to build this business. This year I'm going to write that book. January the 1st is not a magical date. You can begin again any day. Man, you could begin again on August the 22nd of any time. It's just whenever you determine that you want to begin again, you can begin again. But as we approach a new year, it's obvious that people around the world consider the new year a threshold, an opportunity to go into a new beginning, to start over, to start again, to have another chance to experience a new beginning. So as we approach this new year, I think it's fair to say that anybody that has any drive in their heart whatsoever dreams of and longs to experience greater blessing, greater prosperity, see their goals being reached, their dreams being fulfilled, their purpose being activated and engaged. Dreams are a big thing. But the problem with dreaming is that if all you do is dream, nothing changes. You see, I'm a big believer in goals, and we'll talk about goals here in a few moments. I'm a big believer in having a vision for your life. I teach how to develop a vision statement, a vision board even for your life. I believe in all of that. But the truth is you can write down 10 things, 100 things, or 1,000 goals that you have. But really, you can have it all written out, and there's great power in writing out goals. But if nothing changes, nothing changes. As a matter of fact, once upon a time, I said in a teaching that I was doing, nothing changes unless something changes. Because it's true. 2015 will not look any different than 2014 if something doesn't change along the way. So let me kind of explain where I'm going with this. How you leave one place or one particular season is how you will enter the next. How you are conditioned or your state of mind today, if not addressed, will be your state of mind in the new year as well if you don't change it. If you have a discouraged or defeated attitude coming out of 2013, you will carry that same defeated and discouraged attitude into what could be a new beginning for you. If you have a sour attitude and you're bitter and angry because someone did you wrong or someone let you down in this previous season, if you don't resolve that issue in your own heart, you will carry that same anger, that same bitterness into your new and fresh season, and it will sabotage the possibilities for you in the new place. So if we want to see 2014 provide different results, different outcomes, then it's paramount that we look at what did we do and how were we thinking and what were we processing that got us to this point, because some of those factors are going to have to change. If I want to see a more prosperous and successful 2014, I'm going to have to assess, I'm going to have to address, and I'm going to have to make some necessary changes in order to see progress and prosperity. So how do you prepare then for a new beginning? What's the process of being prepared for that threshold moment where I'm going to leave one place and go into a new beginning? What do I need to do? How do I enter the new place? Well, today on the program, I'm going to tell you that I believe every person can absolutely experience God's greatest blessing, can experience prosperity, and can experience and realize great success in a new beginning by following 5 very simple steps that I want to share with you today. I'm going to propose to you a 5-step process that I believe will give you a jump start for the new year. The process that's designed to help you reboot, to start over, to begin again, to clear out all the cash, to clear out all the spam, to clear out all the negativity, and provide you with more clarity and more purpose for the season that is ahead. Let's look at it together. Step number 1, let go of the past. You have to let go of the past. You must let go of past failures, past mistakes. Maybe you tried a little entrepreneurship on the side over here and it just didn't work out. Well, you know what? That has nothing to do with your tomorrow unless you choose to bring that past failure into your tomorrow. Maybe you are in a great relationship and you really screwed it up. Something happened and you didn't handle it the right way. You made some really severe mistakes in the stewardship of that relationship. Well, that should not keep you from entering into new relationships. Yet, if you don't resolve the mistakes of the past in your own heart, your own mind, then you will probably repeat those same mistakes again, having not addressed them and having not resolved them and reconciled them. You have to let go of past hurts. Who hurt you? Who wronged you? And maybe even in 2013, you really, really struggled because someone really put the screws to you and it was painful and you were disappointed. You were disillusioned. But you have to let go of the past. You cannot bring old junk into a new place. What about past relationships? This one always gets me a little riled up, and it gets a lot of other people very concerned, because here's the thing. Some of the relationships that you've had in past seasons are no longer serving your desired future. I want you to hear that. Some of the relationships you are in today are not providing life to you, and they will not help you to accomplish and to arrive at the desired future in your life. I was taught many years ago that life is lived on levels, experienced in stages, and when we as individuals move from one place to another, one level to another level, one of the key things you have to know is that not everyone will go with you to the new level. You cannot take everybody with you into your next season, because their mindset, their thought process, their unwillingness to change, to grow, to be developed will actually become a limitation for you in the new place. It'll hold you back. So sometimes you have to let go of old relationships. You have to let go of the past. That's step number one. Step number two, examine your heart. The Bible tells us in Proverbs 23:7, another very much a favorite passage of mine, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. The principle here is very simple. It is that what I believe to be true about my life, about my worth, about money, about my future, is exactly what will manifest in my life. If I believe something at a heart level, I am going to see that belief made manifest in my life. So at the very core of the equation is, what are my present thoughts and beliefs about my life and about my future? You have to examine your heart and know this. What do I believe? What am I thinking about my life and about my future? Is my mind working for me? Is it working against me? Here's another question you have to ask while you're examining your heart. Does my heart agree with my head? What does that mean? Well, many people believe that they can confess their way to the realization of their dreams and goals. Just, state it out loud, an affirmation, if you will. And by the way, I believe very strongly that confession and affirmation are vital parts in our growth and in our development and in our living. But confession or affirmation alone is incomplete if your heart doesn't really believe what the mouth is affirming. Think about that, if you will. If the heart doesn't believe what the mouth is affirming, then you are in conflict. You're saying one thing, but you believe something altogether different. It is important to confess with your mouth, but it is imperative that you believe with your heart. If your heart is not in agreement with your words, or maybe if you do not really believe on the inside what you're projecting on the outside, it's a fruitless exercise. You can confess and blab and grab all you want to, but all it's going to do is create frustration and disappointment. Examine your heart. What are my beliefs? What's my thinking like? Is my mind working for me? Am I saying things, but I don't really believe them in my heart? By the way, the Bible does say, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So you have to examine your heart. Here's some questions you can ask yourself. Are there thoughts or beliefs held there that are toxic to my faith? This is all about examining the heart. Do I have unforgiveness or bitterness in my heart that's affecting my productivity and my progress? Do I have limiting beliefs or limited vision that is actively working against what I truly desire for my life? You have to look at your heart. Well, somebody said, well, I don't like doing all that introspection and all that examination. Well, as Rafiki said to Simba in The Lion King, look closer. Look closer. You must dig deep and look at your heart, because out of the heart, the Bible says, flows the very issues of life itself. So step number 2, examine your heart. Step number 3, know thyself and set your expectations. Know thyself and set your expectations. You see, most people never invest time really in discovering who they are or in identifying what it is they really want in life. I personally believe that every human being is created by God with a specific destiny and purpose on their life, and that destiny's already been determined. In other words, God made me, and he made me with an end in mind. And so in order for me to tap into the potential and the greatness that he sees in my life, I have to align my mind and my heart with his plan. Remember, he has plans for us. So I have to align my mind and my heart with his plan and with his will for my life. So this involves the process of self-discovery. And in this process, we seek to find answers to questions such as, and write these down if you are not driving, but write them down at some point. Questions such as, who am I? What do I really value in life? What are my values? What are my passions? What am I just crazy about? When this conversation comes up, I get stoked. My juices start flowing because I'm excited to talk about these things. What are my passions? What is my assignment and my purpose? Here's a really important one. What do you want? Man, you could spend hours, if not days, just pondering that one. Man, if somebody asks you, what do you want? Well, I'd like a double cheeseburger, biggie size fries, and a large Dr. Pepper. No. What do you want out of life? What do you want your story to be? Someday, when you are dead and gone, what do you want to be said of you? Man, this guy made a difference. What do you want out of life? What do you want your life to be about? Number 6, what are my dreams? What are my goals? Write them down, ponder them, think on them. These are exercises that I'm encouraging you to really go through in the coming days. And then what is it that I really want to accomplish this year, the next 3 years, the next 5 years, whatever the case may be. But know thyself and be specific about your expectations. Who am I? What do I value? What are my passions? What's my purpose? What do I want? What are my dreams? What are my goals? What do I want to accomplish? See, once you've answered these kinds of questions, then and only then do you have a clear compass or direction for your future. In my mind, a man or a woman who has not taken the time to look at these kinds of questions is like a ship with no rudder. You have to be intentional about this process. If necessary, and I strongly recommend this, you know that I do, but get somebody that can partner with you, a life coach, an executive coach. Get someone who can come alongside and help you very strategically to discover and to identify, to clarify these very important components concerning your future. You see, these components make up what we talk about in our world as a strategic life plan. You got to know what these things are because these become the roadmap for your life. So step number 3, know thyself, set your expectations. Step number 4, develop a strategic plan. Albert Einstein once said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Well, you've heard that quoted, I'm sure, in different kinds of ways. But the truth is that even though we all want better results and we all desire to see our future improve and our tomorrows be better than our yesterdays, the truth is we're often stuck in this quagmire of old habits and old behavioral patterns and old ways of doing things that simply limit us to the same dadgum outcomes we've always experienced. It's amazing to me. There's not a human being alive that doesn't want their tomorrow to be better than their yesterday. But it's crazy to think that tomorrow is going to be different if something doesn't change. Nothing changes unless something changes. So we have to take action. But just any old action is not good enough. We have to be strategic about our action. We have to be specific about the actions that will move us toward our goals, our dreams, our purpose. How do you do this? Well, here are a few steps for you under developing a a strategic plan. Write down your goals. Be specific. And I could do an entire workshop on goals, and probably will be doing that here pretty soon. Write down your goals. Be very specific. Break them down into long-term goals, short-term goals, and immediate action steps. It's great to have a dream about owning a coffee shop. But what can you do today that will move you somewhat in that direction? How about this? Identify the resources you currently have available to you that relate to that goal. Who do you know? What education do you have? What training might you have? What kind of financial resources do you have? Do you have investors? Then identify the resources that you do not presently have available. And then look at, how do I take some steps to acquire those resources? Do I need to go back to school? Do I need to get a specialty training of some kind? Do I need to pursue creating some sort of a business plan so that I can present that to potential investors? What do I need to do? What steps can I take to acquire the resources that I need? And of course, things like planning your weekly action steps, planning your daily action steps. But develop a plan that's actionable. It must be specific. It must be detailed. Step number 4, develop a strategic plan. Step number 5. Now, this is profound. I'm not sure you're ready for this. Start. That's it. Step number 5, start. You see, before you can be great, you have to be good. Before you can be good, you have to be so-so. And before you can be so-so, you got to be pretty stinking bad. But before you can be bad at something, you just got to do something. You got to start. You got to start where you are. You can't wait for the perfect scenario. You can't wait for the perfect moment. You can't wait for all the pieces to be perfectly in place. It'll never happen. Just start. So many people that I know are waiting for God to show up and just miraculously cause something to happen. And ladies and gentlemen, I know God enables us and empowers us to do great things. No question about it. Other people might be waiting for fate or good fortune. You know, some people are waiting for their ship to roll in. Others are just sitting around waiting, twiddling their thumbs. In the world of faith and religion, so many people profess faith that God is going to bless them or prosper them or release a miracle to them. And I believe with deep conviction in a God who I've got a Father that loves me and believes in me like crazy. And he loves to bless his kids. But I also believe that the Word of God says faith without works is dead. You got to do something. So I have to put action with my faith. I must believe what God believes about me. But then I have to get up off the couch and I have to act in accordance with that belief. So step number 5, start. So we're about to enter 2014, and here's my encouragement to you. I want to see you come off the sidelines. Stop being a spectator. Don't be comparing yourself with everybody else. Just be who God's called you to be and engage in this wonderful game that we call life. I go back to our scripture. God has amazing plans for you. Plans to make you very prosperous. Plans to make you very successful. Plans to point you in the direction of your future, and it's a future that's filled with hope, not regret, hope. I'm speaking to somebody today. God has absolutely blessed you. He has spoken over your life. He has given you some powerful promises. But you can't keep looking behind you. You have to look forward to the new beginning, and you have to begin to put action to your faith so that you can know the success and joy He has designated for your life. So let me review the 5 steps with you very quickly. Number 1, let go of the past. Number 2, examine your heart. Number 3, Know thyself and set your expectations. Be specific. Who am I? Why am I here? What are my dreams? What's my purpose? What are my goals? Number 4, develop a strategic plan. You may need somebody to help you with this, a life coach, a friend, a business partner, someone who can help you think through the process. But develop a plan. And then number 5, start. Just take one step. I want you to purpose in your heart today that you're not going to go into 2014 carrying the weights of the past. For some of you who are listening to this podcast today, there's some stuff that has weighed you down so heavily. It's been like walking around with 8 or 10 50-pound bags of rice on your back. You just dragging everywhere. But lay it down. Don't take it with you into the new year, into the new season. Don't go into 2014 carrying unforgiveness and bitterness and frustration and negativity and pessimism and woe is me. Lay that stuff down today and leave it. Leave it right here. You're not going to go in carrying all that stuff. You are going to go into the new year knowing that God has great plans for your life, plans for your success, for your happiness, for your prosperity, and for a marvelous future. You will go in to this new season knowing who you are, what you want. Your dreams are going to be reborn in you and so clear. You're going to have a plan. And you will engage your calling. You will engage your purpose. And I believe, and I have great confidence, that you will get up from wherever you've been sitting, that you will do the work necessary to see those dreams come to pass. Well, if you'd like to comment on this episode, please go to brianholmes.com/020. Go to the show notes for the episode, scroll down to the very bottom of that post, and you will see the comments section there. We would love to have you engage with us in conversation there. And here's a question that I would like to leave with you today that you can comment on there in the comment section. Are you ready to say goodbye to the past, and are you willing to engage the future that you have? And if so, the answer to the question is yes, but I want you to tell me what's been holding you back and what do you intend to do about it? I'm so excited to have you engage with us there. Well, I have a couple of announcements that I want to share with you here very quickly, but let me just say that one of the ways that you can really focus in and ensure that you have a prosperous and blessed new year, that you come into the full measure of what God has for you, is to bring someone into your world that you can trust, someone that you have confidence in, who can actually help you to think through and process through and discover who you are capable of being. Yes, I'm talking about a coach, and I know I'm not trying to be self-serving here. It may not be me. I may not be able to take you on as a client, and I might not even be the right fit for you, but I'm encouraging you to find someone who you can bring into your space and say, I need your help in figuring out what I need to do going forward. I want to make a new beginning. I want to make a new start. Now, I have a couple of openings right now for coaching clients, and I would love the opportunity to speak with you about that to see if we are a fit for each other and what that would entail. But whatever the case, find somebody that can truly help you to become all God's called you to be. Well, I'm going to go back to my announcement earlier in the program today. With that in mind, we have this New Beginnings seminar coming up on January 25th. How to let go of your past once and for all. How to reignite and have your dreams come alive once again. How to develop a strategic plan for the new year and for this new season that you're coming into right now. How to be activated. How to really understand the process and the steps to a whole new start. Be reborn, renewed, rebooted, relaunched for great purpose, for great destiny. Well, we're going to be performing this workshop live in Dallas-Fort Worth on January 25th, 2014. If you are anywhere near Dallas-Fort Worth, or if you are really feeling as though you need some sort of a shot in the arm, a real launching pad for a great new year, I want to invite you to come be a part of this amazing, amazing day. It's going to be a 6-hour, very intense workshop, and we're going to help you to go from point A to point B and do so with great success. If you're not able to attend live, we're going to try to have this online for video viewing sometime in February, and it'll also be available for audio download in February as well. To find out more about this or to register for the New Beginnings Workshop, go to brianholmes.com/new beginnings. brianholmes.com/new beginnings, and you'll find all the information right there. Well, if you'd like to have me speak at your church, your conference, or a leadership event, or any type of a venue where we could be of service to you, please visit my speaking page at brianholmes.com/speaking, and I would be honored to serve you or your organization in any way that we could. I am so pumped about next week. You have no idea. Recently, I had the opportunity to interview a man who I consider to be on the leading edge of the business mountain, if you will. And you may not know what that means right now, but you will after you listen to this interview. But I had the pleasure of sitting down with my friend, Ray Edwards, and we had a 45-minute conversation that was out of this world. What perfect timing coming into a new year to hear Ray and I discussing the possibilities, the potential, the power of who you and I are in the earth and what it is we can accomplish if we'll simply engage what God has given us to do as individuals. I cannot wait for you to hear this next week. Episode number 21 is going to be this great interview with my friend Ray Edwards. You will not want to miss this power. It might be the best episode ever of the Strategic Living podcast. I'm so excited. Can you tell I'm excited? We're going to be talking about why you must be engaged wherever God has assigned you. Well, before we wrap it up today, let me just invite you to subscribe to our weekly updates at brianholmes.com. And also, if you find this podcast and the content we're providing on our website valuable, I would like to ask a favor of you. Subscribe to us in iTunes, but also take the time and rate us in iTunes. Leave a comment there, some feedback there. That helps us so much in becoming more visible in the iTunes world so that others just like you can find the great content we're providing here, and we can help them just like we're helping you to become all that God has created them to be. I also want to ask you to share this with all your friends and all your associates, those that you care about in the social media world, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, whatever it is you do. I'm going to ask you to just put that out there and help us to get the word out about this great, great show. Well, I trust that something we've shared today has challenged you to pursue God's very best for your life. I'm telling you, it's going to be an amazing year coming up. I don't know that I've ever entered a new year more excited than I am right now. I'm telling you, many of us have struggled through some challenges. We have fought some difficult battles. But man, it's about to get good around here. And we invite you to be a part of it with us here on the program. Well, until next time, I want to remind you, you are made in His image. You're designed for a purpose. You are destined for greatness. The entire world's waiting for the real you to show up. It's a new beginning, everybody. Let's go experience it together.